The barber shows up with a fresh haircut, and mine looks like a homeless person.
I got you after this. But I want to be remembered from my kids and my wife to be known for not being scared to take risks.
You're not done yet, but you're on the journey there, and you're taking a huge step forward.
You need to do something with your life. This is not cutting anymore.
It always feels good when your wife tells you that.
Right. I shouldn't be here. Coming from my past and everything that I've been through, I shouldn't be where I'm at now.
This is the Unleash Your Purpose podcast.
All right, welcome to Unleash Your Purpose. I'm your host, Ryan Centers, and I am so excited to have a great man here with me today. We have Mitch Garcia, and what you're going to learn really quickly about this man is, one, he does a great haircut, not by looking at mine. The barber shows up with a fresh haircut, and mine looks like a homeless person.
I got you after this.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
He comes once a week to cut my hair.
Yes.
And we decided to do this. But what else is about this man is he is a social media giant, at least in my eyes. And he has become a solo entrepreneur to a business owner, first generation business owner, homeowner. Has an amazing family and a great story to tell. So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. So what does it mean what made you become a barber? What is that?
So growing up, I always wanted to cut hair.
Okay.
But growing up, it was kind of looked down on. As it was kind of like you didn't finish anything, you didn't do anything with your life.
Okay.
So I've always wanted to cut hair though, but I was just never in the way I was growing up. And then one day, when I was welding, God just spoke to me and was like, you need to cut hair. So, followed God, and I'm here now. So
when was this? Because you had a pretty wild ride.
Yes.
What most guys know, if you've had your barber for a long time and you've been cutting me for a while,
yeah,
and now you cut all my kids.
Yes.
All
of them.
Yes, it takes them hours. This podcast studio is not. It's the air is on, but this poor man, he's cutting up all my boys. He's drenched in sweat by the end.
Drenching in sweat.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you come to be so you're a barber, but you had this kind of crazy God experience, and you had this kind of wild life up to this point.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Where I'm at now is just solely based on faith, and jumping out and just trusting God. So before I was cutting hair, I was working random jobs, 9 to 5s, Walmart, Walgreens, and all this stuff. My wife now is like, you need to do something with your life. This is not cutting anymore.
It always feels good when your wife tells you that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's what God's voice sounds like to my wife's.
It's a good word. No. It actually is funny, but it's true. Sometimes God slaps me in the face through talking to my wife.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
But I was so I went to welding school.
Okay.
I did structural welding for 6 years.
Uh-huh.
I hated it. Welding in Arizona is not fun.
Mm-hmm.
So, just one day I was asleep, woke up, when God wakes you up and you're like, all right, do you want me to spend time with you, or am I not listening? But I heard him say you need to do something also with your life.
Mm-hmm.
So I was I started to really think about becoming a barber, went to go get my haircut, and my friend was like, just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. And I'm like, at this point, I'm not gonna, we just had a baby. We have a house. We have 2 incomes. And I'm like, it's not gonna line up. It's not gonna line up. The timing's not right. It's gonna take me years to finish barber school. So then the next night I was asleep, woke up as well. And then I felt like God told me you have a truck that you love, So if you really want this, you'll sacrifice to get it. So I was like, what do I do with this information? I woke up and told my wife, I think I have to go to barber school. She's like, how are you gonna do it? I'm like, I think that God told me to sell my truck.
What kind of truck was it?
It was what was it? 2018 Dodge Ram 1500. Ooh. Paid off. I was something I was working towards. It was my prized possession at the time. I love that truck. And she's like, God told you that? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, okay, let's go. And at first I was like, there's no way. There's no way that she said that. I thought she was gonna be like, no, you're lying. We're not gonna do it. So long story short, we ended up going to CarMax, sold my truck. They gave me over what it was worth.
What'd you get?
$19,000.
Hey.
Yeah, at the time, like Kelly Blue Book was like 15 grand.
Okay.
So, yeah, I ended up getting that, paid off whatever I had to pay as far as like my debt, paid my barber school, quit my job.
Have you always been a guy that like takes a leap really quick?
Yeah.
Like, I've never.
Brian, you told me multiple times you're moving too fast.
Like I move quick in business and all this. He's like, I got an idea. I'm going to start my own, open up my own barbershop. Like, oh yeah, heck yeah, let's do this. He's like, no, I say let's do it. Like, I want to get involved.
Yeah,
yeah. You boxed me out quick on that
the
one.
next week, I got keys already.
Yeah. He's already looking for a space. Mm-hmm. You're already like have met a broker. You got a general contractor lined up. And then I go to your house the next time to get a haircut, and you have a for sale sign at the front of your house.
Yep.
So you tend to like jump.
Yeah, it's quick too. I do stuff. I don't know what it is. I'm just very like impulsive. I have ADHD, so everything has to be like.
How does your wife feel? So did you tell her this time that you have this dream? So you got in the barber. And then we'll go back to that, but to kind of wrap this up of your impulsivity or your willingness to take risk, I think is a big thing. I think as entrepreneurs in general, you have to have a high level of tolerance for risk and calculated risk. I think as you get older, as time goes on, the risk, you need to be really thoughtful, intentional of how much risk to take. Like you risked it, dude.
Oh,
this last time.
I've risked it. And you know, shout out to my wife.
What happened?
She's been riding, man. Like she's been with me and we've been in the trenches together, you know, broke, no money, you know, trying to make ends meet with our kids. And, you know, God's been with us through all of it and providing, and it's been amazing. It's amazing ride. And I've honestly never like sat down or told anybody our whole entire story from when we started this journey or when I even started cutting hair. So, I mean, this is, you really don't know much either. I mean, you were there for bits and parts of it, but yeah. We sold our house and opened the shop, lived in Airbnbs, flooded Airbnbs. Like we've been through the trenches and, you know, we're here now and we have a beautiful shop.
Dude, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So you kind of so for you, you kind of stepped out in faith. What was the decision for you that you said, hey, I want to, because reverse back to during the pandemic, you took your own shop and you wanted to just kind of create your own schedule.
Yes.
And you're like a super talented barber. You have all these awards. You have you do. You have all of it.
Yeah.
And you do cut really well. And you're not cheap.
No,
you're not cheap.
No.
Cheap. Yeah, you get to pick. I'd rather have good than cheap all the time.
Oh, me too.
Yeah. So you wanted to kind of have your own space, and so you started like a shop out of your house for a long time, right?
Yeah.
And then you were like booking up, and then what kind of got you to that place where like, all right, I'm ready for the next step?
I was never ready for the next step.
Okay.
So where I'm at now, this is not me. I don't want a barbershop, but God wants me to have a barbershop.
Okay.
So even walking, like this is, I mean, owning a barbershop is just me walking in my purpose and where God wants me to be. And God's using the barbershop to reach the community around us. You know, we're feeding the homeless and we're giving people free haircuts and we're just using that as an outreach to reach people in the community. Even working with the barbers, you know, I was surprised. Last week, one of them was at church, at the church that I go to, which is like.
Did you invite him?
No.
Did you just hear your music playing or what?
I guess his mom convinced him to go, and it happened to be the church that I was at. You know, so I think God's he's just using the barbershop to reach his people. You know.
So, what was the hardest things about starting a barbershop?
Everything.
I know.
Working with the city is a pain.
Yeah.
Going over budget on everything.
Yeah. So you made a budget.
I made a budget and
blow it up.
Almost tripled what I thought it was gonna be.
Always.
Yeah, that was just, man. There was times where I sat there and just cried because I was like, this is not what I thought it was gonna be.
Were you in the barbershop?
Yeah.
Was it when the flood happened?
When the flood happened.
You had 2 floods. You lived in an Airbnb, right?
That got flooded when monsoon hit.
Yeah.
The pool had flooded into the Airbnb.
With your kids there.
With the kids there. Then the barbershop flooded, a pipe bust.
In your middle of construction.
In the middle of construction.
Yeah.
Luckily, I went in. I wasn't supposed to be there. So the pipe would have ran for 2 days. And only God knows what had happened, you know? So, man, it's been definitely stressful.
What do you think's the hardest part?
Just everything for me. This is my first shop, you know?
Yeah.
And
would you say it's your first business?
This is my first business.
Yeah.
I did the whole like solo thing, you know, but it wasn't really a business.
Yeah.
I would say, but now this is my first like business. And this is where I learned everything. You know, different terms, leases.
Yeah.
You know, I just there's a lot of stuff to learn. I'm thankful for you. You know, you were there.
I remember you texted me when you're negotiating leases. You're like, "What does this mean?"
Yeah, I'm like calling you, Ryan. Answer. I need to sign
a second option. That means like you can renew the lease again.
Yeah. Even like little stuff like that. It was like, I never.
Or how you get your like. So when you did your construction, you did I feel like you did a great job finding a good space.
Yeah.
And then negotiating a good lease because you got TI or tenant improvements.
Yes.
So you got money that the landlord kicked in for the lease.
Yeah.
So it was like, what? I don't know, 30, 40 grand or something. Or
For my tenant improvement?
Yeah.
No. I negotiated with it. I only got 10 grand back.
Were you supposed to get 40?
That was not negotiated. But I tried my hardest, you know.
Okay.
Me and the broker, we went back and forth with them and they weren't budging, you know.
Okay, well 10 grand's not great.
That's like a drop in the bucket, you know.
Yeah, so, I know when those bills climb.
Yeah,
those GC bills, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I feel like commercial construction is a lot more challenging.
Yes, and they will try to get you for every penny and dollar you have. Yes. I'm asking him like, hey, how much to put in a toilet? He's like $500. I'm like, no, a toilet? Yeah. Like, no way, I'll buy the toilet. Like,
did you buy your own toilet?
I did.
Yeah,
he still charged me $200 to put it in. I could have did it myself, but City of Phoenix wants everything done right.
I know.
So yeah. But
like, so if I'm putting it in, it's like, oh
yeah, the bolts are all loose. You have extra parts.
I feel like you know my life. I literally was in my garage today, and I was cleaning stuff out for the golf cart that we just got, and there was a big bag of all these bolts and screws, and like, oh, we don't need this anymore.
You don't need it.
Yeah, that's not important.
All right.
And Sarah's like, what's all in that dumpster? I'm like, nothing, babe. Nothing. Go inside.
I'm the same way. They send extra parts all with it just in case you lose them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what's been now your first time as a business owner and you have staff?
Yes.
How's that been?
That is very stressful for me.
Okay.
Knowing
you're not wired for that? Or is it just a new skill or what?
No. So I don't have like a background, you know, as far as education or anything like that. So everything is like, I'm learning it as I go. I didn't finish high school. I got my GED, you know, so I have ADHD, like I'm all over the place. Yeah. So this is me learning from everything. So me knowing that I'm responsible, I'm also a people pleaser. So me knowing that I'm responsible for other people's lives and providing for them to put food on their table is stressful for me. I recently had to let somebody go already. And that was like, I cried on the way home. Yeah. You know, because it's hard. And I made, like, I don't know. It's a whole lot for me.
Yeah.
And
your first firing and first letting them go, I can remember it to this day.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got 500 employees. We've had probably 2,000 employees at this day, like at this many years. But the first 2, 3, I mean, it's like a dagger to your heart.
Yeah.
I remember sitting on the front porch of the house of the guy that we had to let go, and it felt like a death. Like I was violating him, and like, you could never do this, even though he sucked. He was like borderline stealing from me, and like, you just sometimes it takes a time to like earn the scars.
Yeah. To
be able to say like, hey, these people are here on the team, but they're here to do a job, and you gotta do it the best. They have to perform.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna make everyone happy.
Yeah. It was tough, man. Like,
is it lonely?
No, because I had called some people. Yeah. I might have called you. I don't remember. You were on vacation.
I didn't answer when.
I think you're on vacation.
No, I didn't want to talk to you.
Probably. But I called some people like, hey, I need to kind of like, need help, bro. Like, what do I say? How do I do this? You know, what's the proper way to do this?
Yeah.
And I felt like he was already, basically, he was just down already, you know? So I just
He's
basically,
already pretty depressed.
I just kicked him when he was down. And it was just, it had to be done right then and there, though.
So how'd you do it?
Well, first of all, everyone says I was wrong because I made him clean first before I fired him. But the timing wasn't right. You know, he had. But
were you too nervous? Were you sweating? Like just waiting?
No, because we still had people in the shop, you know, and I wanted to do it when it was kind of just us.
Yep.
But he was like, "Hey, I have to leave now," and I was like, no, just wait." You know, like he had just got done mopping the whole shop and stuff. So I was like, "Hey, you know, sit down. Let me have a conversation with you." And you know, he was kind of like, "Hey, what's up?" And I, you know, this was in 2 weeks. This was his third bad review. Okay. Luckily, they reached out to me. They didn't go to Google. Yeah. A bad review will destroy your business. Yeah. So luckily, the people reached out to me. I issued refunds, but I sat them down and said, "Hey, you know, somebody else complained. You know, we had another complaint." Oh, he's like, "Yeah, I kind of figured," and I was like, "Yeah," like he already knew that it was a bad haircut. But I told him, like, you know, I think you need to. What I said was like, I think you need to go to another barbershop that's more busier, where you can get your reps in. You know, like this. Where we're at now, this should be your end place. You know, like with our price range, you know, and the haircuts we're doing, they're worth the price. But not all haircuts that were being put out of the shop were worth that price. So I told him, you know, go somewhere, get your reps in. Once you get to the level you should be at, come back. I'll save you a chair. You know, if the chair's open, it's yours. You're good people. You know, we made friends. Yeah. I appreciated the whole time he was there. I let him know though, like there's nothing.
How'd it go? How do you receive it?
He was good. He was like, I kind of need this right now. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, like I'm fighting depression. Like I'm trying to figure my life out. That's great. He had just moved from New York. He's like, so I'm trying to figure my life out and I think I need this right now. But he's like, I appreciate you, like everything you've done for me. You know, you became a brother to me. That's where it was hard for me because we got that close.
Well, let me tell you, man, like you may feel like you're all over the place. Yeah. And I didn't even know about this, and you're getting your reps in like as a business owner. But you did that perfectly right. Yeah. Like first thing you do is you have to be straightforward and honest. Yeah. You don't come in elevated. You terminate in private. You make sure that you are honoring to that person as an individual. You're not cutting them down. Yeah. And you're not talking about who they are and identity and all of that. Right. And you gave them hope for a future. Yeah. Like, that's great.
That's the last thing I wanted to do was just
and it was a relief for him. Yeah. Most time they know it's coming.
I was so stressed out. But then he was like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah. I was like, you're usually the one that's more stressed than they are. They usually know it's coming.
Yeah. That whole day though, it was like, it weighed on me heavy. Yeah.
But imagine your name and reputation. So what I respect about your business tremendously is you are a genius marketer. You are very, very skilled at that. You are great at social media. You are not just active on it, but very innovative. And you care about your brand and your reputation. Yeah. He was violating your brand. Yeah. And you gave him obviously 2 chances, some jacked up haircuts. And I mean, 3 strikes you're out.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was kind of going off of, was the 3-strike rule. You know, in my heart though, I was like, the people pleaser in me was like, yeah, maybe we can keep him and like figure it out, you know? Yeah. But the business side and everything was like, you know, we don't have time for that. Yeah. This is where we're at now, you know, like.
Yeah, you have to kind of like, what I even am continuing to evolve and learn from. There's like the heart side of me. I'm like a pastor at heart, a psychologist at heart, like, and I care about people. But then there is the business side of like, no, this is going to do harm to everyone else. Yeah. Like for you picture your family. Hey, I'm doing this for my family and for my kids and making sure that I'm leaving an impact for them. Mm-hmm. And sometimes making the hard choice is way more important than what's easy and convenient. Yeah. And you made that hard choice that's better for the business, even though you wanted to have diarrhea.
Yeah, exactly. It was tough, but we got over it. And, you know, everyone, I had my family around me who was able to bring me back up and, you know, let me know that it wasn't that bad. You know, I was doing what I had to do as a business owner, you know, and get out of my own head, which is.
So what's your picture for like the business now? What are your next big hurdles and things that you're working through?
Right now I'm working on filling the other chairs.
Yeah.
We have 6 chairs total. We have 4, including myself. We do have another barber starting in February. And then after that is working on that other chair. And just growing the business more. We have already started to change the waiting area. There wasn't enough room.
Okay.
For the people that were coming in.
It's good.
So yeah, we're getting
rid
of we're getting rid of the couches. Had to invest in some chairs.
Okay.
The chairs are expensive.
Yeah, everything, man.
Dude, it's just it doesn't make sense.
Yes.
But yeah, we're doing that. Pushing Facebook ads.
Yes, you're a marketing
Instagram
genius.
ads.
Like to me, like I watch you and how you do your social media innovation. Like, how did you learn that? And what's your kind of strategy for your marketing social media?
So I took a couple classes here and there, and picked up some strategies, but most of the stuff I kind of just learned from other barbers or other people,
You do this drawing every year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
so
you
I
get,
came up with that. Like, that's so random. I came up with it with myself.
Yeah.
So it's like a give and take, so
cost you money because you got to give free haircut. You give away free haircuts for a year.
Free haircuts for a year, a whole entire year. You can come twice a month for a whole year.
Yeah.
Then this year I also did a second winner, to win 1 haircut a month for 6 months. So basically 6 years for free.
You have to
like the posts, share the posts, tag me, and then comment.
Dang.
So those things right there is
how many people were in the drawing?
This year wasn't too high. I would say like 100 and something.
Yeah. So it's 100 and something new followers.
Yeah, 100 and something new followers. But all those, those 4 things are gonna get you all the engagement.
Yeah.
It's gonna get your post seen more.
Yeah.
But also like that brings me revenue.
Yeah.
It brings me clients. People are seeing my profiles. People are like, oh, I didn't win, but I mean, he does.
You also have like wherever you go. What I learned from you is that you go to like you'll go to Instagram, say you're at the gym. You'll go to the gym and that place on social.
Yep.
And start following those people.
Yeah, follow people, or just even if you just like them, and they'll see like, oh, who's Transformation Cuts. They'll click on him like, oh, I see him at the gym. I'll follow. I didn't know he was a barber. Because I go to the gym, put my headphones on, I don't talk to nobody.
Yeah.
But I'm wearing I'll wear my
your gear,
barber shirt or my necklace. Like I have different stuff that I'll advertise that I'm a barber. I just put a big old sticker on the back of my car.
Yeah.
So I have to drive right now because people are gonna hunt me down. But yeah, I mean, I just try to advertise wherever I go. If not, I just, like I said, social media. I try everything. I'll DM people like, hey,
you slide in.
Brand new, I'm a barbershop in the area.
And then you also give a free, do you still do this?
No, not anymore.
No.
I was, but then it was costing me.
How I found you is that you offered to give your first haircut for free.
No, so I was just thinking about this. I was like, how did I meet Ryan? So what it was is I had reached out to.
And I maybe?
I was like, I told Christina, my wife, I was like, I want to give back to somebody.
Oh, yeah.
We should do homeless people or maybe a foster home. And she was like, there's one in the neighborhood. And I was like, all right, so I got to do my research. So I'm like, who owns the foster home? And that's when I found you and Sarah on social. But I was like, I'm going to give it a while. Because sometimes when I follow people, they'll DM me or something, oh, I didn't know you cut hair.
Yeah.
So you followed me back and I didn't get that. So I was like, so I was like, you know what, whatever. So then I ended up running into Sarah at Sky Zone.
Okay.
And she was there with her friends or whatever. And I was like, hey, you guys own this, right? And she was like, yeah. And then I was like, you guys own the foster care too? And she was like, we do. I was like, I would love to give you guys free haircuts. And then she was like, really? Like, that's so nice. What's your phone number? And then I gave it to her. And then she gave it to
someone, yeah.
Yeah, somebody. And then somebody reached out to me. And then 2 weeks later, I'm cutting 27 kids in my house.
Yes.
Sweating. I'm just cutting all day. Boys, girls, everybody. And then I forgot, I ran into you at the gym.
Oh, yeah.
I said, hey, my name's Mitch, barber. Come, I think I told you, hey, you want a free haircut or something like that? You're like, yeah, free haircut? I forgot what it was. And I told you, I cut all your foster kids. You're like, that was you? And I was like, yeah.
Awesome.
So that's how
I found out you love Jesus. We went to the same church.
Yep.
You cut really good.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then it went from
there.
there.
And he has convinced all my boys, like we have this like quiet communication because he comes to my house every single week, or not every week now, but cut all 8 of my boys, and I'm pretty particular on their haircuts.
Mm-hmm.
I have to tell him, I go, hey, you need to trim the sides, cut top off, just play it cool. And every time they're like, nothing up top. I look at him like, top.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yes. I go, who's paying the bill?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep. I tell him all the time, sit down, like, I'm like, you want same haircut? Yeah, nothing on top. I'm like, nah, your dad's paying me, you gotta trim the top. I mean, hey. So you're paying you gotta get what
exactly.
you get.
And no, even today, even one of my boys today, he's like, I know you try to get that fade. I want that taper. I go, you need to get that medium, at least medium high taper.
Yep. I said it's only a matter of time till you guys all have the CCV haircut. Oh, that's hilarious. You guys all have the same haircut.
And the problem is,
hey, it looks nice.
It does.
Comes with wisdom.
Yes, exactly.
Oh yeah. Man.
Yeah, man. So how is it being for your family, being first generation business owner and first generation home buyer? Like, how is that for your family, like your extended family? Because your family's really close.
Yeah.
And they all kind of helped out with this whole journey for you.
They did. Everyone, a lot of people, me and my wife were the heads, but everyone had their hand in it, whether it was praying or giving advice, sweeping, like anything. Everyone had their hand in it. But my parents are proud. My dad, every time he goes and I'm like cutting his hair, he's just crying. He's like, I can't believe this is yours. Like, it's like, it's.
That's cool. Yeah.
It was like just, breaking generational curses, and I don't know. It's really big for our family. Cause nobody, besides on my mom's side, they own businesses, but no one like immediate family, nobody owns any businesses. And it's honestly, I never thought I was going to own a business at all. I never pictured myself owning a business. I had to get out of my own head, because being in my own head, I'm like, I don't deserve this. Like, this is not what I deserve. I shouldn't be here. Like, coming from my past and everything that I've been through, I shouldn't be where I'm at now. And that's all, thanks to God. And just him being faithful to me. And even when I don't deserve it, he's still doing it, And I don't know. It's good though. Like,
that's like probably one of those powerful things that someone said on this.
Oh, it's good.
That's good, dude. That's really like profound.
Yeah.
How, what advice are you going to give like someone that's walking after you? That's someone that maybe is a first generation.
Man, just do it. Don't be scared. Trust God. Even when it doesn't seem like there's going to be an end, God's already been there. He already knows what you're going to go through. He already knows your footsteps, and he's going to be faithful regardless. Yeah, I mean, that's all I can say is just do it. Just go for it. That's exactly what I did. And it was tough, but I mean, my family we made it through. We're still making it through. We're not anywhere where I think he wants us to be, but we're there, where we're supposed to be.
You're not done yet, but you're on the journey there.
Yeah.
And you're like taking a huge step forward.
Yeah. This is just the beginning of what he wants us to do for us.
So good.
Yeah.
And you had a big moment this last, I don't know, probably like 4 to 6 months ago with your son.
That was
that was right before you started, or were you in the middle?
No, that was so when it happened.
So explain.
2 weeks later.
You have a 2-year-old son.
So I have a 2-year-old son. His name's Ashton. No, he's 3. 3-year-old, but at the time he was 2. We feel horrible to this day that it happened. We went to Disneyland. Like other helicopter parents, we got air tags. Put the air tags inside their pants. Came back home, put the air tags inside of our drawer, and we're like, one day we just heard the brand. I'm like, beep 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 beep. The air tags were like dying, so I took the batteries out and put the batteries in the drawer. Ashton was watching TV, standing on top of their bed. We were asleep. He got up on top of the dresser, grabbed the AirTag battery out, and was putting it in his mouth. We were sleeping the whole time. I woke up to gagging. You know, like as a parent, you hear anything, you're gonna jump up. I heard gagging, and I looked, and at the time I had double pink eye. So when I tried to jump up, I couldn't see because my eyes were like closed. And I was like hitting my wife, and I'm like, "Hey, Ashton's choking. Like, wake up, wake up!" And then she wakes up, and she's like, "He's not choking on anything." And I was like, "I don't know. Like, I think he is." And he kept grabbing his throat. He was saying like, "It hurt, it hurt, it hurt." And she's like, "What do you think it is?" And I was like, "I don't know. Like, I don't know." And so we were like trying to give him water. He didn't want to drink the water. You know, thankfully he didn't want to drink the water because that would have been way worse. But he kept saying like it hurt. And then I was like, where was he at? Like trying to remember. So I went to where the air tags were. I grabbed one of the batteries and I was like, hey, did you put this in your mouth? And he was like, this, like, and we're like, crap. Like, we don't know what to do. Like, a lot of people don't know about button batteries. Button batteries can kill your kids. But we ended up calling 911. They came, Phoenix, they came. They didn't know too much about the button batteries either. Because we were told them, like, he ingested a button battery. They were like, okay, like, he looks fine. You know, his vitals are normal. As long as he passes the battery, he'll be fine. Which is not true. Button batteries, when you ingest them, they leak acid out. There's no coating around it. So it's leaking acid out as it's going down, everywhere, your intestines and everything. That acid then will begin to burn at all your tissues. If it burns through, everything could leak out into your body and it could be deadly. So he ended up throwing up while the fire department was there. They're like, you should take him in. We took him in, and there was a doctor, I forgot his name, but he knew like immediately. He was like, no, he needs a CT scan. Like, he needs to do this. Like, we need to act fast. So they acted very, very fast. They went in, pulled the battery out. Ashton did have some severe burns to his intestines. But luckily nothing like leaked out. They did a bunch of tests. Mm-hmm. He was in the hospital for like 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
From ingesting a battery.
Which we thought was going to be like.
And your wife stayed at the hospital for 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
You ran the business. You felt guilty.
Yes.
Like nobody's business.
Yes.
I remember that.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
It was me and my daughter. We were home for the 3 weeks. My son, my wife were in the hospital for 3 weeks. Our parents were there helping out. Mm. What we thought was going to be a quick visit ended up turning into a long stay. But now he's out, 100% healed. Praise no God. Long-term problems. Mm-hmm. We continue trying to spread the word about button batteries. We did a news interview with Channel 3 to try to put that out there. And as we were leaving, another kid had ended up going in with the button battery ingestion.
Wow.
Luckily, they have a plan now because of Ashton. They have a plan in Ashton's name of what they do to treat kids who come in with button battery ingestions. So, yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Yeah.
That's so amazing.
Yeah. It was a tough time.
How God has used a horrible, horrific situation.
Yeah.
And then your advocacy now has changed a policy and a procedure and to save other kids' lives.
Yeah. It was a bad thing, but God's using it for good now. Yeah. So
and now you have your little kid running around your barbershop.
Yes.
Watching dad run his own business.
Yep.
Saying one day this is gonna be mine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna follow after dad.
Yep.
That's
amazing.
Cool day.
It's it's a blessing, man. And me and my wife just look at him every day.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, this is.
Yeah. He's proud.
Yeah. This is crazy.
Yeah. You should be proud of yourself, man. You're You're an inspiration to me and to so many people.
Thank you.
You really are.
It.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It was. It was tough.
My last question I always ask people says, "What do you want to be remembered for?"
And somebody asked me this question before, and it was so hard for me. It's like, of course, you want to be like, "Oh, I want to be known as a God-fearing man," But it's like, that's like I feel like that's the Christian thing to say, And I don't feel like everyone feels that way. But I want to be remembered from my kids and my wife to like be known for not being scared to take risks, and being like a great dad. which I battle with every day.
Yeah.
But I want them to remember me as like this amazing dad that provided for us and was always there through everything, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just same thing I want my wife to remember me for is,
That's right.
you know?
Yeah. And you lived this life of taking a risk for the good of not just your family, but this community. And you have such a servant heart, and your place is going to go far.
I pray it does, man. I'm excited to see what God has planned for us.
So you have to come on the show again when you got 9 chops, and let me make sure you keep cutting me up.
Yeah.
And listening to and make sure my kids get the tight fade.
Always. Hopefully at least we get one more by next year.
That's right.
That's my plan.
All right.
So.
Well, thank you, man, for coming on.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
All right. Till next week, may you unleash your purpose to profit in business, faith, and life. See you next time.
Thanks for joining us for the Unleash Your Purpose podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review. We'll see you next week.